Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pink Possibilities. My name is Uni Lopez, and we are here with episode 3. Every week, I will have a special guest that will be sharing their Mary Kay journey with us. And remember, all stories heard tonight and every time are 100% true. So here's a little bit about my guest tonight, Dawn Harpster. Dawn started her Mary Kay career in January of 1996 as a college student, stayed in Mary Kay today to positively influence women, my kids, and those around her. She earned her first free car in February 2004, since earned the total of 10 cars. That's awesome. Sales director debut in March of 2004, completed the National Court of Sales 10 times, the highest over $76,000, and finished up in the top 20 at number 16. Wow, that's awesome, Dawn. And her family is husband of 22 years, Jim. Her kids is Haley, 20, Cassie, 18, and Isaac, 12. What she loves about Mary Kay is the sisterhood, the girlfriends, life experience. That's what she needed that when I need a raise, I work harder. I am in charge of my income. She loves helping women achieve their goals while building a business that can pay them for life. She loves helping customers find products they love to use that fit their wants and their needs. And of course, she loves the free cars, cash, and flexibility. Without further ado, let me introduce you to the amazing Dawn Harpster.
Hey, hey. So glad to be here with you guys tonight. And there we go. Okay. So I am so glad to be here and telling my story. I think it's always interesting to hear everybody's story. So thank you, Uni. Oh my gosh, you're such a blessing. And I love that you're doing this. And I love that you just reach out and ask. And she is the cutest thing, man. We do a selfie every time we're together, every time we're in the same space. And I love that so much. You know, a lot of our journey in Mary Kay is really about the sisterhood, right? And the people that we meet. And, you know, some of the closest people in my life came because of my Mary Kay journey. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and how I got started in Mary Kay and how I've built a business for the last 27 years. I just celebrated 27 years in January. But I just want to say to you tonight, you know, think of 3 questions. So as we go through tonight, I want you to be intentional about thinking of questions that you can ask me at the end, because I really feel like hearing people's stories are really important, and having questions to ask really helps you be engaged. Plus, I know that I have one of my friends on here and customers, and she's getting some great deals from me for being on and participating tonight. So I love being able to do that. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey. So my journey started when I was a little kid, and my recruiter warm chatted my mom. My recruiter, the person who recruited me, she was riding her horse in my neighborhood and rode by my house. And my mom was in the garden, and she warm chatted my mom from horseback while my mom was working in her garden. And boy, I bet she's so glad she stepped out of her comfort zone and took her horse for a ride that day, because she ended up recruiting me years later. And I've ended up becoming one of her offspring sales directors. So, you know, you just never know what happens when you hand out your business card at whatever it is you're doing. But you know what? I know for a fact she had her Mary Kay face on. Just because she was riding a horse, she still had her Mary Kay face on. I can guarantee that. So that's how my journey started. And my mom has used Mary Kay forever. So how old am I? So I would say my mom's used Mary Kay for almost 40 years, which is amazing in itself. Yeah. And I have been a faithful Mary Kay user since I was 14. So there's nothing that makes me feel better than when somebody says, well, you don't look your age. And I'm like, girl, that's because I've been using Mary Kay forever. So I have severely dry skin. So having great hydrators for your skin is really important. That's a big part of my journey too, is the fact that I love the products and have loved the products and used them faithfully for years. So when I was 21, I was a Mary Kay customer, and my mom for Christmas that year had this big box wrapped, and it was underneath the tree. And she said, that big box is for you, but you're not allowed to open it till everybody leaves tonight. And I was like, are you kidding me? For anybody who knows me, I love gifts, right? I really love gifts. So to have to wait all day to open this big box was like torture. So I waited, everybody was gone. It was just my mom and I, and of course my dad sitting in his chair, but he wasn't paying any attention to us. And I opened this gift, and here it was a Mary Kay starter kit. Now I am so sad today that I didn't keep that starter kit for nostalgia purposes. I got a little throwaway happy one day, and I was just throwing stuff away. But let me tell you, girls, the Mary Kay starter kit of today is nothing like the Mary Kay starter kit of 27 years ago. So consultants that are watching or listening to this, if you ever have the opportunity to go through the Mary Kay Museum at Mary Kay headquarters in Dallas, Texas, you want to do that and go back and look at what the starter kit looked like in the 90s, because it was all demo tubes. Not like today we get this beautiful, tasteful starter kit with full-size products that we use, like that you see in the background. But back in the day, they were demo tubes that you squirt and squeeze, and they didn't look anything like the retail products. But anyway, it was super exciting to open this up with my mom and get out all the products. And it was so much fun. And I was like, Mom, why did you get me this? And she said, well, you need a part-time job. So I thought you'd love to do Mary Kay. We love the products. So it wasn't a stretch for me. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. So even though I got my starter kit for Christmas, I didn't technically sign my agreement until January 15th. So technically, I like to celebrate my Mary Kay anniversary on Christmas Day, but really I signed my agreement on the 15th. But it was so much fun, you guys. The thing that made me really excited about starting my journey was the fact that I had lots of friends and family who used the products because my mom and I had shared our love of the products and held parties and stuff over the years. So for me, it was great because I was already starting out with building customers. So I had friends and family that used the products. I thought, well, nothing else, even if I don't like Mary Kay, if I don't like the company side, the business side, I'll just sell to my friends and family. I'll get all my products from my mom and I at a 50% discount, and I'll charge friends and family full price. And guess what? And I'll make some cash on the side. But I'm here to tell you that I fell in love with Mary Kay. I fell in love with the business opportunity. And the really cool thing is that, you know, you might hear this, consultants might have heard this, directors might have heard this, that we get into Mary Kay, but really Mary Kay gets into us. And it is so true. Mary Kay really does get into us because this company is about more than just what we do. It is a culture. It is a lifestyle. It is a what is the word I'm looking for? A way to better yourself. And that was one thing, like I look at myself today, I'm pretty refined compared to what I was when I was 21. Now, some of you may not think so, have known me for a really long time. But anyway, I was just really excited to be able to gain some customers, make some cash on the side. And I won't lie, that making a 50% profit excited me. And I was like, okay, I can stand to make a 50% profit. So I was still a college student at the time. I had worked my business around my school. And honestly, school was just, I'd had enough. I'd been in college for 4 years. I had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't doing well. I had transferred home. I originally went to school and I was a gymnast, and I got injured multiple times. And I finally just decided I was going to walk away from that. I transferred home to Penn State, and I hated it. I hated Penn State. It's incredibly big. I came from a small high school, small town mentality. I just hated it. So I was like, you know what? I'm sick of wasting my time and energy and money. So I stopped going to school, continued my Mary Kay business, and I got a full-time job. So I was working a full-time job and Mary Kay full-time on the side. Then I met my husband. You know what happens then, like everything, when you're planning a wedding, like everything goes on hold. But let me just tell you a funny side note, you guys, you never know where your Mary Kay business is going to lead you, because I was holding parties when somebody set me up with my husband, and I was holding parties and doing my thing. And I did a customer service call, and here, my now husband's mother was one of my customers, and we didn't put two and two together in the beginning. I had called his house on customer service calls to his mother and not realized it at first. It took me a little while to realize that the man I was dating, before I had met his parents, we had only gone out a few times. So isn't that so funny that it's a full circle? It's like a full circle moment. I was like, your mom is one of my customers. So anyway, that's just a funny side note, but I really think it's a God thing. I think God does this stuff to us to make us realize that we are doing exactly what we're supposed to do. So anyway, I love the fact I got married, and then I was working a full-time job, 50 hours a week. And then, after we were married a little while, we decided to start a family, had my first of 3 babies. And I was working 50 hours a week, and I felt like I never saw her. And my recruiter asked me to go to career conference. And I hadn't been working my business a whole lot, because I'd had a baby and I was working full time and I just wasn't in a good place. So I was trying to help her finish up her director in qualification. And then she said, hey, why don't you go to career conference? And I was like, okay, whatever that was. Right. So it was, and just so you the guys who don't know, it's a conference that Mary Kay puts on. It's 24 hours long that Mary Kay puts on for us for training and recognition and fun, and to see the big picture of Mary Kay. And I went, and just so happened my national sales director was at my career conference. And boy, did I have a great time getting to talk to her. And I really had this overwhelming feeling like Mary Kay was where I was supposed to be. And I ended up, had a discussion with my national, and as every smart national does, they often do not answer your questions. They just give you thought-provoking answers, right? So they don't necessarily give you a yes or no or whatever. They ask you things to help you think, to be able to make decisions for yourself. And that is exactly, man, she was so wise. She let me try on all her Mary Kay jewelry, and it was amazing. So I went home from that career conference in 2003 and gave notice, talked to my husband, of course, gave notice. Oh, but I was a force. So he was like, whatever you want to do, I'm sure you'll be good at it, So, but I was the wage earner and the benefit holder. So for me to leave my full-time job and do a Mary Kay business, it was a big deal. So I gave 6 weeks notice to my job because I loved my job. They were very good to me, but I was incredibly stressed out working 50 hours a week. But I primed my pump. So the thing was that I worked my full-time 50-hour-a-week job. And then in addition to that, I did 2 to 3 Mary Kay appointments a week in the 6 weeks that I was working before I was done at my job, so that by the time I was done working, I had a full-time income. Does that make sense? So I love the fact that we have choices and we have the flexibility to be able to do whatever we needed to do with our business. So in order for me to make the switch, for me, that was what worked. So for 6 weeks, I worked a job and a half, which was amazing. And it really helped propel me forward. And, for me, it was the right decision, because when I came home from the career conference, I realized that I had always envisioned motherhood being home with my kids. And I know that's not everybody's story, but for me, that was my story. I had just always envisioned being home. So it just felt right for me. Now, I'm not going to lie. I made a lot of mistakes in that first year, especially first probably 2 years after I quit my job. But I think God allowed me to go through that so that I could help other people through the same thing. But the big thing about Mary Kay is they teach us to have dreams, and they teach us to have goals, and they teach us how to break it down and continue to work. And we all support each other. And that was one of the most pivotal things for me, is I had a whole cheering section of people helping me achieve my goal. It was amazing. So I started Mary Kay full time, I think like the beginning, like May 1st. And my goal was by June 1st to go on target for my first free car. And then July 1st, go on into director and qualification, which is like Mary Kay management, right? Us directors, Mary Kay management. And I will tell you that I actually went on target for my free car in October and went into DIQ in November. But the biggest thing for me was the resiliency and continuing to put my blinders on and work for the goals that I had set. And that is one of the biggest things that I'm going to talk about real quick at the end, how I think all of that affected my kids as they watched me work my business over the years. But it was amazing. And I earned my free car and became a sales director. And my journey, I just really felt like my journey was really just beginning. And I continue to work my business. So I've now been a sales director for 18 years. I've been in Mary Kay for 27. This will be my 19th year. So March will be 19 years that I've been a sales director. And it's really cool, the things that have come from this. So, you know, as sales director, it's like a full-time job, right? This is our full-time thing that we do, and it's a choice to do that, but there is a qualification period. So we always say there's only 2 times in Mary Kay that you have to, that they give you minimums. And that's when you're earning a free car and when you're becoming a sales director. Those are the only 2 times. So I did both of those things at the same time, which is pretty cool. So I love that. I did less work because I did both things at the same time, which is really smart. But it was just great, you know, watching myself set a goal, and I missed it. I probably have missed more goals than I've made. But the beauty of it is that I never stopped. And I think that's part of what made me so resilient, was having a good work ethic and wanting more and wanting different than what I had. And that's really what kept me going, and watching the influence I was able to have on other people, and the influence that my friends that I made through Mary Kay had on me and my journey. And so I love that. So I just want to share with you real quick, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. Some of my maybe aha moments or favorite things that I've had happen to me in my 27 years of Mary Kay. And most of that happened since I became a sales director. But one of the most pivotal moments for me, and this tells to the sisterhood in Mary Kay, is so my daughter Cassie, who's now 18, when she was 6, she was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. So those of you that know anything about type 1 diabetes, it is when your pancreas essentially stops working and you do not secrete insulin anymore. So she is insulin dependent and will be for the rest of her life. And that was pivotal. Here was a 6-year-old little girl it happened on December 5th. And I was in the hospital with her. We were in the hospital with her for 3 days. And it was actually an amazing experience because of the Mary Kay women that lifted us up in that time. And I knew when that happened that God meant for me to be in Mary Kay, because where can you take a week off of work and still get a paycheck and have this amazing group of women join around you and lift you up and pray for you and check in on you? Like, it was amazing. And, you know, because of my Mary Kay training and mentality, we had the mentality with our daughter that life was not going to change for her just because of this diagnosis, that we were going to adapt and teach her how to adapt in order to have as normal of a life as possible. And that was pivotal, because that set the pace for her success as she moved forward in her life. And a lot of that came from my Mary Kay influence, the things I had heard and the things that I had lived up until that point in my Mary Kay business. Now, as I watch my kids grow, because they're 20, 18, and 12, and oh my gosh, you guys, it is so what they've seen. And I do feel like, you know, a lot of it is stuff that is innate enough, but a lot of it is what they catch us doing, right? And I see what a positive influence this business has been for my kids over the years since they've been growing. My 20-year-old graduated from high school. She decided not to do traditional college. And she went to esthetician school literally a month after she graduated, and went to esthetician school because she wanted to be able to do lashes and brows and facials and all that kind of stuff. She wanted to be very hands-on. Of course, she didn't want to do what her mom does. You know how that is. Anybody relate to that, right? They love us. They watch us. but they're not quite ready to do what we do sometimes. So that's okay. We love them through it. So now she works here in my studio with me. She's a licensed esthetician. And it's amazing because she's here working with me all day long. And I've watched her in this journey of starting her own business and been able to guide her and help her. She watched me run a business her entire life, and she wanted that for herself. She is a fourth generation entrepreneur. Fourth generation. My grandfather started it. He was an electrician. Then my dad was an electrician who then became a general contractor. My mom and dad went into business together. And then I'm an entrepreneur. And then my daughter followed in my footsteps. So it's really amazing. She does work part-time as a waitress as well, which she's really good at and she loves a whole lot. And so that's an amazing part of our journey. And then my 18-year-old is a horse trainer. And she also has used skills that she has watched. So it is really an amazing thing to watch your kids. And to watch my 12-year-old son and the decisions he makes and the influences that he has on other kids his age and the leader that he is, that he doesn't even realize it. He gets so irritated. He's like, Mom, I don't want to hear all that frou-frou stuff. I don't want to hear your positive stuff, because we have all these Mary Kay sayings, but I really do watch how it's influenced him in everything that he does in his sports and his school and all those things. So those are some of the things that I'm really proud of, that this business has helped with raising my family, has had that influence on them. Not going to lie, girls, I love the free cars. We're in qualification. We're going to finish up qualification for our next free car. Now, I don't know if you guys know, maybe somebody wants to ask this, but we do have 3 different car levels in Mary Kay. And you know what I say? I don't care what level I'm at. As long as my car is free and I don't have to make car payment, I am totally good with that. So Mary Kay we can earn free cars. I've earned 10 cars. We're earning our 11th free car right now. And I love it because they pay about 80% of the car insurance, which is amazing. And we have different levels. So depending where you are in your business, guess what? You can still be rewarded for that. The other thing that I love is my husband and I were just talking the other day, and I said, you know what? I feel really bad for people who have never set a goal and who can't see beyond their own circumstances to want better or do better or get themselves out of their situation. And having a positive influence on women is one of the things that I really love about what I do. And the fact that I can help women make a change in their life that not only changes a change, it is not only a change for them, but is also a change for everybody in their life and their family and their kids and their spouse. And that's probably one of the things, I can teach you anything about the business you need to know. We learn all that great stuff, but it's really about the relationships, and it's about more than just selling moisturizer and lipstick. So those are some of my favorite things. So I would like to take a minute. I think we do have about 5 minutes, right? We go 4 or 5 minutes to open it up to questions. And I realize, I think we have somebody on. So if you would like to come on, or if you would like to unmute, if you thought of any questions, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you have any questions you would like to ask me, I would love to be able to answer any questions you may have.
So how did you build your clientele? Because it seems very overwhelming to start out and be successful.
Right. Well, I'll be honest. So do you want to tell us your name and where you're from real quick?
Yes. Rebecca Palm. I live in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yay.
And I went to high school with you a couple years ahead of you.
We've been friends for a long time.
Yes, we have been friends for a long time. Very fortunate.
Yay. Okay. So I would say the biggest thing is I started with my friends and family. And that's really what we encourage all customers to do, or new consultants to do, is start with their friends and family. Because that's your best, they're going to help you out, right? Because we're learning in the beginning, and we're not necessarily, you want to start with the people you're not afraid to mess up in front of and stuff like that. So I really just started with my core group of friends and family. And today, even being in business for 27 years, I'm still coming in contact with people that I've never shared the products or the business opportunity with, because I have 3 kids and they're doing different things and have grown up in different things and different parts of their life. And I'm constantly meeting new people and finding people. And you know what the funny thing is, Becky, is that some people, I don't even get the opportunity to ask them. They ask me and they say, hey, I think I really need a moisturizer. Can you help me with that? And I'm like, of course. And then I'm thinking to myself, why didn't I ask her? Why didn't I offer her something before? So some people come to you, but yeah, friends and family is really who we start with. And then we go from there. Because would you agree that everybody you know knows somebody you don't know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like even your sister who you're really close with, she probably has some people that you may know, but you don't really like know. So if she could introduce you to 4 to 5 people, that's 4 to 5 new people. And then if you got in front of 4 to 5, let's say you got in front of 3 of those 5, and they introduce you to their friends, and then they introduce you to their friends. And that's how your business grows and transfers. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great question. Any other questions?
Well, you partially answered my next question. I was going to ask if you find that the products kind of sell themselves, like people seek you out as opposed to you seeking them out.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the big reason for that is because, I won't say always, I'll say 99.9% of the time, I have either something on my face or my skin's in really good condition because I've used the products for so long. So I will tell you that, yes, I do seek some people out. I put cute little gifts to give away to people, people that are in my life. Like tomorrow I have an appointment. I have a doctor's appointment. So I'm going to take little gifts to give all of the staff that I see. And I just say, oh my gosh, it's the month of love. I would love to give you a free gift. Send me a text when you've tried the sample and I'll have something free for you, And so I do warm what we call warm chatter people that way. But yes, like I just had somebody message me the other night and said, I want to come over and I need to pick out some new makeup and products. I was like, okay, great. Let's schedule a time. So yes, you do start with people that you know, and then it goes from there. So
Perfect.
I think we're just about out of time, but Uni, is it okay if I take one more question if she has one?
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead. Do you have any other questions, Becky?
Well, I have to ask about the cars now. Like, what are the different levels? I'm just curious.
Well, the cool thing is that we have 3 car levels. So the first car level is the Chevy Malibu. The second car level is for the next 2 car levels, the middle level and the top level are for directors only, is the Chevy Equinox. And then of course the top is the pink Cadillac. So we love the pink Cadillac, right? But the great thing is, in my mind, I just always thought how fortunate we are to earn any of the free cars, because I don't know about you guys, but having a free car is pivotal to me right now with the state of our nation and inflation and how expensive everything is. I couldn't imagine having a car payment on top of everything else we have to pay for in today's world. And the cool thing is, Becky, if you have a car that you love, you can take a monthly cash payment instead. And I did that a couple times. So this is my 11th free car. And I think 2 times or maybe 3 times I did take the cash and I bought a vehicle because we needed something a little bit different. And, different people are in different stages of life. So some people need a minivan or a big Suburban, and some people like their sports car. So having the option to be able to take the cash, I think, is really exciting. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Right.
So awesome. Thank you for joining in.
Of
And
course.
I have
Well,
some fun stuff for you then, some coupons and whatever. So I'll make sure that you get those. I can follow up with you tomorrow if that's okay.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, awesome. So Uni, I'm going to let you take it over if that's okay.
Dawn, I love you. I love you from the first moment that I met you. I have a well of questions, but unfortunately time betrays us. But if you have a question, let's say you were not on with us and you have questions, whether you're watching us through YouTube, whether you're watching us through Facebook, please, please, please write your questions down. Reach out to me in the comments and I'll make sure that Dawn gets them. I think I love you. And I think what I love most about you is you're so relatable. And I know why we get along so well.
Yeah.
Hearing your story is so like, wow, I'm just like you in so many ways. And a lot of the questions that I have are more business questions, of course. So I really want to talk to you about that. But I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking time to do this. I know that you're busy, but I also know that busy women get things done. And then to do it on Valentine's Day. I mean, like, come on. My husband is waiting upstairs patiently to go out on a late date because he had to work tonight. But Dawn, you have been one of the most influential women. I don't think you know that, but I'm telling you now publicly how much you have meant to me from a distance, and then getting to know you. I think that's why I gravitate towards you, and why there's just this harmonious, like, I feel like we've known each other from the moment that we've met. It's crazy how God works things out. And this is what I love so much, like you, is the sisterhood and the friendship. And I thank God that the one good thing that came from COVID is technology, because we would have never been able to do something like this and get to know each other on such a level that we could talk to each other on Zoom and feel like we're right in the same room, right?
I
So,
agree.
thank you from the bottom of my heart. So remember, I want you to join us every week. Next week on episode 4, we have Kat Van Dusen joining us. So you have to tune in. And so remember, if you're looking for fun, freedom, or flexibility, always remember that when it comes to Mary Kay, the pink possibilities are endless. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.